What movie did you expect to be bad, but was actually good? Megamind. DreamWorks' reputation was all over the place at the time of its release, and the trailers made it look very generic and dumb. Very happy I was wrong. I thought the Lego movie was going to be a stupid commercial, and it ended up being one of my favorite movies ever, with a surprisingly deep message. That message, everything is awesome. Lego movie was brilliant. Even if it had been a cash grab, the animation choice to make everything look like Legos actually look was amazing. On top of that, the way the plot jumps from one area to another in a chain mixing things together is exactly how kids play with Lego. The heroes go from cities to the Wild West to the medieval world, and they all get mashed up together. While the core story is relatively predictable, the twist which cost them an Oscar grower elevates it. It's a fantastic example of doing something well being more important than doing something new. Even if you tell a story that is archetypical in nature, you can still tell it better than anyone else. Ingela almost teared up when Emmett was telling Mr. Business that he was the special. That entire speech hit so hard. I sincerely believe Everything is Awesome is the best encapsulation of how the rest of the world sees the default America. Dread 2012, I was surprised how good it was. I'd really like to see a sequel to this one, done in the same style. It's simple, fun, non-stop action with great one-liners. Sometimes I want that in a film. I loved the most recent Mad Max 2015 for the same reason. Tucker, Dale, Vez, Evie. We've had a doozy of a day. It's perfectly done. Tight script, excellent performances, and the right amount of reverence for horror. College kids are just killing themselves. The Mummy, 1999. The trailers of the time didn't do it many favors. It looked like a brainless summer movie aka fast food, perhaps filling but forgettable. It was a summer movie, but it was so much fun, well crafted and fresh. It's still one of my favorite movies to this day. It's a classic. Stargate. As a kid, I really didn't want to go see it. Egyptian aliens, boring, loved it. Tropic Thunder, my friends, dragged me to see it. Such a great movie. My absolute favorite part is when they're trying to get the map from Ben Stiller because of the absurdity of Rajay being the rational, clear-headed one, while wearing blackface. You looking super ripped like Rambo in Rambo 2, not like Rambo 1. Any tips you got? Give me that goddamned map. Fuck you. Tropic Thunder is in my top 10 movies all time. There's just something about it so quotable. Every person in that movie has at least a couple great quotes. Tom Cruise nails his character. I don't get out of character until the DB's done. Pirate of the Caribbean. A movie based on a Disney ride. About pirates. This is going to be so bad and a lame Disney kids cash grab. The first movie turned out to be outstanding. The soundtrack alone is legendary. This is pretty well known, and of course a lot of factors went into make that movie great. But Johnny Depp really showed he knows how to make a character. According to what I've read, everyone was confused by his portrayal of Jack Sparrow at first. They wondered why he didn't act more like a pirate, thought his acting was weirdly effeminate for a pirate character, etc. In interviews he said when he read the script he could tell Jack Sparrow was like an old rock star. I think he even said Keith Richards was one inspiration. There are exaggerated stories about the character, and he isn't in his rockstar prime. It kind of shows why Depp has been successful. Tremors. Edge of Tomorrow for me. I have a hard time separating Cruise from all of his Scientology nonsense, and I dislike him, but I gave that movie a chance and had a great time watching it. I dislike him. It probably didn't hurt that you got to see Tom Cruise die dozens of times. Someone had to say it. Puss in Boots 2, The Last Wish. Awesome film. The Last Wish had absolutely no right to be as good as it was. Just watched it the other day. It's so damn good. How to Train Your Dragon looked like the insipid generic kids movie that was just churned out by Movie Studio all the time back then. Oh, it so wasn't. The unbearable weight of massive talent. I had low expectations and thought that Pedro would not be able to save the train wreck. He did save it, and more. It made me want to be a better man. I knew it was pretty good when I started to root for. Honestly, The Matrix. When the trailer came out, me and everyone I knew thought it was going to be another Johnny Mnemonic. Same actor, same cyberpunk setting, same black clothes. The trailers were also very vague. What is The Matrix? We didn't know what to expect, but we had nothing better to do on a Friday night. Holy shit, was it an experience. So much so, I went back 2 more times. A Knight's Tale. The anachronism of the Queen soundtrack combined with a young cast led me to the conclusion that this would be a sappy teenage drama set in the Middle Ages. A very talented cast with some clever writing elevated a ridiculous and tired premise. It's called A Lance. Hello. Kubo and the Two Strings took the kids to the cinema on a family cheap Saturday morning showing. The films are usually dump. This was fantastic. The plot is so-so, but the animation and storytelling is absolutely beautiful. On that note, Rango, I thought it would be terrible, but the animation and writing were a treat. The Princess Bride. I remember thinking it would be bad because of the name, and it was an 80s adventure film, but damn is that a good movie, and totally stands the test of time. To think I once thought it might be bad? Inconceivable. Zombieland. I knew nothing about it except for the name. This was during the mass focus of everything is the living dead thing. Soon as the movie started flashing cardio, I was enjoying myself. Soon as Woody stepped out, I was hooked. Cabin in the Woods. Hot Tub Time Machine. The most ridiculous premise, but hilariously done. Great cast. It helps that the movie is completely aware of what it is. Like how they know the hot tub mechanic is clearly telling them how to fix things and that they can do things better and all. It's not trying to pretend it's a serious movie. It's ridiculous from the start to the end, completely self-aware. Probably one of the best time travel movies out there. I'm a huge Butter fan, but Hot Tub Time Machine is just great comedy. The Fifth Element. My husband, boyfriend at the time, wanted me to watch it with him because it's one of his favorite movies. I thought it looked dumb and boring, but he kept saying that he thinks I'd like it. Turns out I did, and now it also is one of my favorites. We also named our son after Bruce Willis's character. If you haven't seen it, watch it. So how's Little Multipass? Eurotrip. Thought it was going to be yet another of a million stupid teen comedies, and it was, but it was actually really funny. Me Scusi. It had me at Matt Damon's cameo edit, spelling Goon. That movie totally caught me off guard with how funny it was. I saw Sean William Scott in it and thought, oh, it's Stifler, must be some dumb comedy. But it was way more than that. Genuinely hilarious, and one of my favorite sports movies. Those new Jumanji movies should be terrible. It almost angers me how much I enjoyed them. Ha! Jack Black is really what makes that movie. Fight Club. My brother and I saw it in the theater knowing nothing about the book, having only seen the short teaser trailer where Brad Pitt says the first 2 rules. We thought it looked ridiculous, might be a fun bad movie. Walked out absolutely blown away. The first Austin Powers movie. I had never heard of Mike Myers at the time, and I only went cause my friends wanted to go. Man, I laughed so hard and loved it. Grandma's Boy. Thought it would just a B-level Sandler entourage movie. A couple buddies and I had nothing going on, so we smoked a few joints and went into the theater with no expectations. It is quoted relentlessly to this day within my friend group. Dude, where do you get your weed? From you, Dante. The Matrix. I was in high school and my friends and I hadn't seen much in terms of ads. My girlfriend worked at a theater, so we went the night before it released, which was a bad sign. Usually employees got to see bad low-quality films the night before release. It was a full house of shitty teenagers. I kinda expected The Net or something, and my friend group were ready to mistweak the shit out of this cheesy movie. And then the opening music sting happens, and it got real quiet, until people started cheering. I left the theater thinking I had just seen my generation's Star Wars. Zoolander. It looked like shit on the trailers. Thankfully they put the worst jokes on the trailer instead of the best, as often happens. Zoolander 2, however, is complete shit. Zootopia. I thought it was a cheesy movie for kids, but it had some deep morals about discrimination and some decent adult humor. Zootopia is a movie that I like to think has no wasted moments in it. Like it is cut to perfection, and it's a compelling story and fun to watch. It's a movie that stays on for me even if my kids leave the room. About time. We need more low-stakes time travel films. When they remade Jumanji, I thought it was the stupidest idea ever. Then I watched it, and all I got to say is, why wasn't Jack Black cast as a teenage girl years ago? Bullet Train. Didn't expect much, just another action movie, in a style of, for example, Statham movies, but it was way better. Yay, I was incredibly surprised. I love Guy Ritchie-style dialogue, and this reminded me of some of the best love, how silly and serious they managed to make You're a Diesel. John Wick. What's funny is the first movie was dangerously close to not even getting a theatrical release, and just going straight to DVD. Now it's $1 billion franchise.